Am I still centered?
You're still centered and we're live
Okay.
now.
Yay!
Hello everybody, it's Maria Gillen from the Kerry Writers Museum. I'm the storyteller in residence and I have a big smile on my face. I just can't stop smiling because my friend Jennifer Wingard is here and she gave me a beautiful present. Look at this. I don't know if you can see it. It's the There we go. It's the stamp of the Choctaw tribe. And of course, we have very special connections with the Choctaw tribe. Ireland received famine aid from the Choctaw all those many years ago, and of course, we've never forgotten. So, Céad Míle Fáilte Jennifer, 100,000 welcomes. And how are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Good. Oh, it's lovely to have you. And I'm really hoping that your Irish trip, the dream of the Irish trip, comes true next year. And I'll bring you to the beautiful Kerry Writers Museum when you arrive and to our fantastic 300-year-old cottage, Sheehan's Cottage, that has had a wealth of storytellers and singers dance before its fire, you know. So I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to that. But for today, can you just tell me? I know that you are of the Choctaw tribe, but can you tell me
Yes.
of your Chickasaw connections as well?
So I myself am not Chickasaw, but I live in the heart of Chickasaw territory. So I live in Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma, which is, Indian territory.
Yeah,
And Ada, I live in the city of Ada, which is where the Chickasaw Nation is headquartered. And I work for the Chickasaw Nation.
yeah,
My sister and my mother do as well. We have worked for them for many years. It's a wonderful tribe, just
yeah.
as much as the Choctaw Nation. In fact, we are considered brother tribes.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, it's kind of like us, the Scots and the Irish.
yep,
We're kind of connected as well, you know. You told me a
yep,
beautiful story one time about how the tribes separated back through the
yes.
generations. It's like a mythical story. I'm not going to ask you to tell the story, but can you give us the overview of what happened?
Basically, before we came to where we are, there were two brothers, Choctaw and Chickasaw, and they were following uh, the stick. They were trying to find their new home, and every night they would put a stick in the ground, and whichever way it leaned, that's the way that they would go the next day. And one day they couldn't decide which way to go, and so the ones who wanted to go with the brother Chickasaw went with him, and the ones who agreed with Choctaw went with him, and that's how we became Choctaw and Chickasaw.
Chickasaw, but really it's like,
Mhm.
kind of the one blood and the one tribe. And I love
Yep.
that, and of
And
course,
our
there's great cooperation between Chickasaw and Choctaw now, isn't there?
mhm. Yes, and our languages are very similar. I met a man, maybe 10, 12 years ago now. I was taking Chickasaw class for work, and he was both bloods. His grandparents were one was full blood Chickasaw, one was full blood Choctaw, and they never learned English. They never learned each other's languages, and they were married for like 60 years.
That could be the recipe for success,
Yeah,
you
but the
know.
languages were so similar that they didn't need to learn.
Exactly,
You know,
So
so
there's the language of love needs no words, and
yep.
that's proof enough. So, just coming back to yourself then, you're Choctaw, but you also have Irish connections, isn't that true?
Yes, I have just a little bit, but very distantly back on my mother's side. We do have Irish ancestry.
Yeah. So we're
So
claiming you. Yeah. Well, you're now known as the Irish Choctaw. So that's it from this day forward, Um, so the Trail of Tears is being commemorated next week on Saturday, and you're
yes,
going to be there. You're going to be walking along the Trail of Tears. It just we feel such a connection to that because it was during the time of the Trail of Tears that the Choctaw Nation, through their elegance of spirit, was able to collect money that in today's money
mhm,
would be thousands of euro, and send aid to Ireland, even though they were in the middle of their own troubles. So can you tell us a little bit about the ceremonies and the traditions that are preserved on this Trail of Tears?
So this will actually be my first time to attend, so this will be something new for me.
Yeah.
But we will be gathering at our Capitol grounds, which is in Tuskahoma, which is the name of it, and it's about 2 hours from where I live. And it's just a 2 mile walk. It's just a memorial walk. And they will be doing some ceremonial dances, and they'll pray. And as far as I know, that's pretty much it. But I know they will, and I believe they'll be singing some Choctaw hymns as
Yeah.
well
Yeah. I
in the
think
language.
Amazing Grace is the one that we all know, of course,
Yeah,
So yeah.
but yeah, I believe that they will definitely be doing some ceremonial dancing
Oh,
after the walk as well to
yeah.
honor ancestors and everything. So,
That's amazing.
and the chief will speak. So,
Oh.
and our chief is amazing. So,
Yeah, exactly. So we would like to extend our connection again. We would like to say to you that you are on Clan Keana, the same tribe, the kindred spirits, and we've spoken before about the beautiful monument in Middleton that commemorates that. So if you could just convey to everybody that you meet next Saturday that our hearts are with you, that we've never forgotten the beautiful gift that you've given, that there's a place in UCC if anybody ever wanted to come and study in one of the oldest universities in Ireland, in Cork. So we'd love to see people come and take that seat up, and if there's any way that we can connect over this special week or special weekend, then we're definitely open to that. And the Minister for Culture, who was present at the dedication of the monument, was a man by the name of Jimmy Deanahan, and he sits on the board of Kerry Writers Museum. And he said, when he knew I was doing this today, he said, make sure to say hello from him, because he would have met your chief when the chief came over for that
oh,
dedication. Yeah,
tell him Yakoke.
Yakoke, that's how you say it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was saying it in my Cork way, Yakoke, so Yakoke. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on today. We'd love to hear some of the traditional Indian singing at some stage. I won't put that on you now, but you might know somebody that you'd like to bring on to sing us a song, and we'll sing a song back, because we've always met in song and story. So that's for another day. But
I'd
before,
be happy to film.
yes, that would be brilliant. We'd love that, Or maybe we can arrange a story circle like this on Zoom where it's live between us,
Oh,
I'd
that would
love.
be wonderful.
Yeah, we can do that sometime. And before I go, you gave me the name of a beautiful book, and it was about a man in the Second World War who was a Choctaw Indian, and he became a tracker for the American forces. Would you like to talk a little bit about that book? Because I love it. I love that book. But maybe you could talk more knowledgeably about it and about the author of that book.
Okay, so my friend Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer, she is also Choctaw, and she has written actually several books about Choctaw. She's written mostly just novels, and they're all Choctaw historical fiction. But this one was it was a novel, but it was based on Choctaw code talkers during World War One.
Yeah.
And we used our language, and we were not the only tribe. I believe Navajos and maybe Cherokees also used their languages to disrupt the other forces.
Yeah.
And so, which by the way was rather ironic, since not to speak ill of our government, but the United States government tried to take our languages away from us.
Yeah. And then they became
not even that many years before that. So, and then to come back and save everything with our language. So I find that wonderful and ironic. But yes, she wrote a book. It's called Choctaw Numpa. and Anampa means language, and it means words. So, and she is a wonderful writer, and she's actually writing another book now, and it's going to be about one of those men. His name is Otis Leader, and this one's actually going to be published through the Chickasaw Press.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's in the works right now, but so you'll have to look her up.
We'd love to have her on as well. So something that I should let you know about Kerry Writers Museum is that Listowel itself is very prolific in terms of writers, and we have a Writers' Week that has been running over 52 years, and we have very heavyweight writers that come to this. We'd love to see Sarah come someday.
Oh, she's wonderful. She's a good speaker. She's also written a story called Tushpa's Story, which is about a boy who was on the Trail of Tears, and it tells about his experiences.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and
I will have to read that. Yeah,
Yeah, so, and a collection of stories about the Trail of Tears. I think it's called Touch My Tears. So just look up Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer.
Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer. So to everybody out there, if you want to see these lovely books, it's Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer. And maybe we can lean on Jennifer to bring her along sometime and have a chat with us. We'd love that, Jennifer. Let's strengthen these bonds between Ireland and the Choctaw Nation again. I'd love that. And I suppose before we let you go, you mentioned language there. And of course, our own language, the Irish language, is a shadow of its former self. It used to be the language of the Druid people, the magical language. So we say an teangan dríochta, the magic language, an teangan dríochta. And
that's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. It's very soft, and there's things that, when you say them in one language, once they're translated, they have a different sense. For example, in English we say I'm hungry, and there's nothing else in your reality in that sentence except the fact that your whole being is hungry. But in Irish we say Tá ocras orm, the hunger is upon me. So we know that we're separate from the hunger, So I think it's subtle, but it does make a difference in how you walk through the world, And I'm sure you have examples of that in the beautiful Choctaw and Chickasaw languages as well. They're even beautiful names, Choctaw, beautiful, and Chickasaw, they're made for stories to be told about them, So thank you for taking time out of your gorgeous Sunday, to be with us. Hold on here because we're going to continue the chat. But for now, I'm going to end the Facebook. So I'm going to stop the live stream. Hello, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Mwah.
Bye. Chapisa la chike. That means see you later.
Slán leat.